What's going on, everyone? I'm back here with Josh from the Euphoria review. We are going to talk about The Bear.
The Bear is one of my favorite shows, I think, to come out in the last 10 years. So if you ever worked in food, I had for 7 years, there's always that one shift. Everything's horrible. Everything's going wrong. It's the worst shift ever. But everyone's equally screwed that shift, so it all kind of becomes fun and so like controlled chaos.
I mean, even retail at the holidays.
That too. Yeah. I think with food, I don't know, there's something more with food, probably because temperatures get hot, there's oil, there is danger when you're cooking food.
This season does kind of take place in this small period of time as opposed to the other seasons really span over a lot of time. That was one of the big surprises for me going into this, but the fact is I'm like a season 3 and 4 apologist. Like, I know people were as high on those two seasons. I personally really loved them. Not as strong as 1 and 2 for sure. I think season 2, even to this day, is my favorite, but there's a really good argument to be made that this is the best season of The Bear. I mean, there really is a good argument to be made. If somebody said that, I'd say, okay, like, it makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of it for me comes down to the absolute consistency of these episodes. Like, this thing just moves. You can't really get there without having everything that came before, because it really is the payoff to all of that. The whole season's one arc, but like, there's 1-2 episode arc that's really the whole shift that we're talking about, and that blew me away. There are times they do things with the camera that I'm just like, they're just showing off. Like, it's not even funny. The fact that they're able to get these seasons out every year when we usually got to wait like 2 years for shows. And this is kind of like we were talking about Euphoria. This also has a busy cast. I mean, these are cast members that are working a lot. I'm just so blown away and impressed by like how well planned out. That is the thing for me. Like, planning like is what makes this show work, and this season in particular. Like, you could tell they knew what shots they needed beforehand. They knew their blocking beforehand. Like, they knew everything. And it was kind of like the actors just had to come in and just, not that they didn't work hard, but it was just probably much easier for them knowing that the creators, Christopher Storer more in particular, had a plan and like knew what to do here. But
well, you know, you're breaking it down here, and you know what it reminded me of?
What's that?
A chef preparing the meal. They knew what the ingredients they needed, at what time, where to add, at what temperature.
There's a meta element.
I said it a minute ago. It was, you know, it's in my top 3 shows. I absolutely adored this show. The fact there's a show about a dude that's just depressed and making food and is trying to do the best can be almost as exciting as watching some CG superhero movie. Like, there's a moment in this where a character goofs and he drops the plate and it breaks, and it's supposed to be this big important dish, and I was more on the edge of my seat about a dinner plate breaking than I was about like I don't know, Thanos snapping his fingers. Like, the tension of that scene alone, because I've worked in food. I know what that moment is like, where you screw something up, you're like, oh, we just set everyone back.
Yeah, those things are very integral to the entire process. I mean, and it has been throughout the show, but this time, like, a plate breaking means more than it would in other seasons. I feel like the stakes are more high this time around than they've ever been. And that's kind of what you want in your final season, right? Is to have the highest stakes that you've ever had in an entire series run. And I think that this show just did that very successfully, and I can't complain about any of it. I mean, it is just so well executed. I personally just like The Bear more when we're kind of spanning over time, which is why I think I'm just a little more partial to season 2. But for something that is contained within a small amount of time, it's not a style I always love, but especially for a TV show. But I gotta hand it to the show. Like I said, there is an argument to be made, and give me some time, this might rank as my favorite season of the entire series. It is one of the best final seasons maybe ever.
And another thing too that makes it work is the final season's 4 hours. I think it was like legit just a work shift, like 5-6 hours. Like,
right, it's true, man. It really, there's a lot more real-time things happening as opposed to, like I said, spanning over time. Like, it feels like things are almost happening in real time here. I'm not saying it did, but you can maybe clock it, and it might be, I don't know, you would really have to clock like real time, but
it's kind of like Clerks, so you just go through Dante's day. Like,
it is a very Clerks inspired season. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is one of the things that they did so well. Was, I think, throughout the entire series is like wearing a lot of their influences on their sleeve. There's like freaking references at the wedding in the last season, right? Like, Like, they do a lot of that throughout. Like, I know that they have that Paul Rudd cardboard cutout in the back, and that's just because, like, Christopher Storer, like, thinks Paul Rudd is awesome. Like, I heard that in an interview. And, like, he wants to wear the influences on his sleeve, but it does not take away from, like, the art of the show at all.
Which is funny because it's made, like, a cheap jab of superhero stuff. I love superheroes, but, it's like, the plate breaking, it just feels really human and real.
Yeah.
And then the fact that there's so much tension on that, but back to what I was saying about the superheroes thing. When you watch Superman, the world felt lived in. So when I go into the restaurant, there's just a cardboard cutout of Paul Rudd in the background, and you just know that two characters inside joke.
Yeah.
Like, when I worked at McDonald's, there was this random crap on the wall.
Right.
And if I go there, I can put that up, and it stayed up. Yeah, and it makes it feel more lived in.
There's a cat in the quick stop. It's kind of like that, where you don't really need a lot of explanation behind it.
They don't explain it, and then it's, what's this cat's name? Annoying customer.
Right, you just get it. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I would liken it too. But yeah, Clerks was such a good call, like kind of what they did here. But again, it does not take away from the originality of what The Bear is. I mean, how many shows take place in a kitchen? Almost
Kitchen Nightmares.
Narrative show. There probably is another one. Like, I mean, the movies you can reference, like Jon Favreau made Chef, and
Waiting.
Waiting is another one, right? Like, they have that, but it's not the same drama behind it. This is very much like high stakes suspense. It's great. I love everything about The Bear. Now, this is the difficult question I wanted to ask you. Now it's all said and done, who can we definitively say is the best character?
It's Carmy. I love Carmy.
I think my favorite performer on the show is Jeremy Allen White. Like, I think if I were to say, like, a performance that I love watching the most, Jeremy Allen White, absolutely. I'm a Richie guy as far as my favorite character. Richie did have the best arc all the way through.
Oh yeah, like, start to finish. Yeah. Where he was in there, to have the spoilers for the kids who haven't watched yet, to have him be a guy that was peddling drugs at a greasy spoon sandwich shop to do a training on how to be a better host at a fancy restaurant.
Yeah, I want to challenge the audience here too, by the way. Like, when you're done watching this finale, go back and watch the first episode, because they work so well together. Or reminding yourself where this all started and then knowing where it all ends is incredible. Like, I'm challenging you guys to do that. I think that is part of the art of the show, because I'll tell you what, like, when it ends, you're like, that was such a great ending, and I'm an emotional wreck. But at the same time, you're kind of like, I still want to hang out with these characters, and so you kind of do want to go back, reloop it, See,
that brought to what I was thinking. It felt like Carmy's last shift is your last shift.
Yeah,
like you're about to leave your last day at work, and then you're leaving. You hear everyone still have, like, the conversations are still going on, but you're not there. Mm-hmm. Your coworkers are still there. The same stories are going on, the same jokes.
Yeah.
It's just you're no longer going to be there.
I will say this: like, we worked retail together, and like we always talk about, like, that job was stupid, but like we talk about, like, we wouldn't know each other without it. Like, all the great things that came out of that experience. Like, it almost in some ways makes that the best job we ever had, because of the experiences and the fact that we know each other now, and we're as tight as we are. And other people that we've met through there, and other experiences. Into a Clerks review.
It's Clerks 2, the story Clerks 2.
It is very Clerks heavy, but like there is a moment in The Bear also that just encapsulates that feeling. Like, okay, like you can't wait to get out of that kind of a job, but at the same time, like when you think back on it, it was the best thing ever, right? Like there's actually a whole monologue that just encapsulates that entirely well here.
That's showing us monologues.
Jeremy Allen White, that's why I say he's the best performer, because that guy can kill a monologue. Like you give him a monologue, he will knock it out. It's amazing what you just forget he's acting, you know, and you're just sucked in it, and you're not.
He's some dude at the bar that walked up to you.
Exactly. You forget he's acting, but you're sucked in everything he's saying, even if he's not saying it all in the right setting, which is something I found funny. And humor in this show, this season probably knocked the humor out, in that every joke really worked for me. That's one of the things with season 3. Like, I love the dramatic story in 3, but I don't think every humor moment works for me in 3. This one,
the weatherman thinking he was special needs.
That was incredible. There was something there.
What is his name? Like, God, I'm terrible scared.
I do forget his name.
Because they're doing a whole thing about him being a server, and they stop him like, oh God, and then they just say he's special needs, and he's talking about climbing a tree and breaking his arm, and that turns heartful because he talks about how everyone signed his cast, because you can get a story behind one of the tattoos.
Right. Like, everybody gets a really good moment to shine in this season.
Even that's supposed to make a joke moment, and then they like kind of pivot and it became a really touching moment.
Everybody gets a moment to shine. That weatherman cameo was a big deal for Chicago locals as well. It was just surprising because I was born in Chicago. I never heard of that guy, and then my mother, she was.
Which is crazy because I wasn't born in Chicago, but I knew I watched him every night.
Yeah. All right. My mother just knew that guy through and through, so she was really excited about that. She grew up.
Well, my uncle grew up in Chicago.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, my uncle. Yeah, he was born in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he would always put him on. He had a VHS tape of him, and he would put him on, and we would sit around the old Yule log during Christmas.
I can't tell if this is a...
No, we would sit around the Yule log Christmas, and we watched, Weatherman stories from my father and his childhood, and it was a very touching time. So him showing up in the bear really meant a lot to me, because it reminded me of like those old Yule-log days, sitting around the old Yule-log fire on during the Christmas tree while mom had the old turkey going, and we'd sit around and we'd reminisce about January 14th weather in 1965. And so when he showed up in the bear, I'm like, oh my god, it's almost like we're part of the bear. Called up my uncle and he goes, "You're watching the Chicago Bears?" And I went, no, it was a show on the TV called The Bear. And he goes, "Oh, I never heard of it." And I'm like, "Oh, it's like a cooking show." And he goes, "Oh, like Gordon Ramsay?" I'm like, "Oh, no, like one of them storied ones." And he said, "I'll just watch Gunsmoke. See him next year."
Not sure all that's making it in, but hey, you did it.
He was a big Matt Dillon fan on Gunsmoke.
Anyway, guys, I love this season of The Bear. It was really, really good.
What would you give it?
Van, A+, man.
I would give it an S.
Well, some old S tier content. I don't really. Never mind. I don't get the point of those tier lists.
What do you mean? Like, I give you. It's like when someone's like, "I'm giving you 110%."
Why not just do like? Why not number it? Okay, let's say I'm doing top 10 Star Wars movies. Just do the top 10 Star Wars movies. Why do a tier list?
Like tier list like Resident Evil games. There's 30 Resident Evil games.
All right, guys. Look, I would honestly give The Bear, like, if I was grading it, it's like an A+ season. I really had no complaints throughout this one.
Really good. Larry David there for you.
I hope you guys check it out. If you like what you saw here today, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit that bell for notifications. It's always much appreciated.
And if you have any Yule-log stories of your own during the Christmas time, put them down at the bottom. We'd like to know your Christmas time traditions while you sat around the old Yule-log fire.
My name is Dom. That is Josh, and we will talk to you guys later.